Hi, everybody. It's John Ward again, and this is the second episode of One Filmmaker, One Film. And I am here with
Jonathan A. Moody.
All right. How are you doing, Jonathan?
I'm doing fantastic. How are you?
I'm doing good, thanks. And we are here today to talk about Scary Story Slumber Party.
Ooh.
Ooh. So, so my first question to you is, how and when did you come up with the idea for Scary Story Slumber Party?
I came up with the idea like in 2009, I want to say, because I was working on a couple short films already, and I was planning on like you make short films and you don't really plan on them being just a short film unless you're planning on just going to festivals with them or whatever. But I really wanted to take a lot of short films and put them into anthology because obviously I grew up on movie or shows like Are You Afraid of the Dark and Tales from the Crypt and stuff like that. So I just absolutely love that style, and I got into Creepshow much later in life, but those are the kind of things I like. And I ended up deciding to make my own anthology film. And so I had a couple ideas, different things, and eventually it became Scary Story Slumber Party.
Okay, cool. And why? So you already had these stories? Because my next question would be is, why did you make this film? So you already had the stories, or did some of them need to be filmed, or and you just want to put them all together? So explain how like the other filmmakers got involved, because I saw that there were two other filmmakers.
Three other filmmakers.
Three.
So yeah, well, sort of like so. The first project that we did for Scary Story Slumber Party was Valentine's Prey. That was the first one that got made. And then we did The Pledge. Both of them were movies that starred Devaney Penn. And we basically had I had shot three short films with her, including a one that's not on that movie and unfortunately hasn't been finished yet. I don't know if it ever will because I didn't direct it. And then these two, one I directed and one I didn't direct. Valentine's Prey I directed. The Pledge I Coven Delacruz directed. And so basically, but I wrote both of them and I produced both of them. So I produced these movies and I directed Valentine's Day. Then we needed more movies. So from 2011 to 2012, we got a bunch more shot. Like pretty much 2010 to 2012, we got a lot of them shot. So like The Dare got done, Noise Complaint, Backstabber, all of them. Bashed was in 2010. So all of them were kind of different times, and it all just kind of came together.
Okay. And were these the other filmmakers? Were they people that you seeked out yourself, or did you put anything like an ad out? How did they come to be in the film?
I think John Johnson, I had seen his short Capture and Kill, which I believe you and I talked about. You seem to really like that one. Um, the one with the people that are running around attacking the three people that are friends or whatever, and or I guess they're friends. I don't know. You don't really get to know. Like the fun part about the project is you didn't really know who they were. You just sort of knew that they were. Had to deal with some crazy like redneck people, I guess.
Going to be dinner.
Back right, at a birthday party, I guess. I
That's
don't know.
right.
Uh, but yeah, so John, I'd seen it and I said, that's a really good short. Do you mind if I use it for Scary Story Slumber Party? And John was like, sure, as long as it's okay if I put it somewhere else, it does not exclusive to, and stuff. And I was like, yeah, I don't care. Like, it'll be cool to have it on there. And we don't have to exclusivity to it. And he was like, cool. So he let us have it. And then Mike Wilson, who directed, what's the like, I just watched the movies. the other one. God, you probably know what the title is. Jesus.
Mike Wilson did event invitation.
Event invitation. Yes.
Yeah.
I was blank.
And that was with Heather Dorff.
Yes.
Yeah.
And I was very happy that we got a movie with her in it. I absolutely loved it. I said, wow, that reminds me of like a short slasher, kind of Scream like, whatever, like those kind of horror films. And so I said it would fit perfectly. And I asked him if that was okay. And he contributed to us, and we put it in there. And so Coven, when he directed The Pledge, that was just set up for him to direct. So the other two people were, kind of called in. And I mean, I think for Mike's event invitation, I think I did put something like a post on Facebook or something asking, and I got event invitation, and there was another one, but unfortunately, one of the actresses in the other one could not wouldn't sign a new release form for it or whatever, and so he said he wasn't able to give it to us, but it was okay. We had, I think it was cool because we were talking earlier, we think a lot of these movies, a lot of these independent films should be about 70 minutes or 70. I think ours was about close to 75 minutes long, and that's, I mean, I feel like that's a perfect length, even when it has like 9 shorts in it. It's like kind of the perfect length for it.
Right. And then the kind of want to go over a couple of people that were involved in this. So we have one a filmmaker that we like who did co-story with you on Backstabber, the Robert Elkins.
I was like, wait. Oh, yeah. Robert Elkins did. Because I think me and him and Victor Michael Anthony Nash were pitching ideas. That was back when Victor was going to be doing I think he was going to be helping me with the camera work on it originally, and then unfortunately he couldn't make it. I think he something happened with his job. He had to go do work, and we already had everybody coming out. So I just I asked my kind of resident go-to guy who I love working with, Chris Roll, if he would come out and DP for me that time, and we shot Backstabber in like a freaking couple hours. I mean, it was the shortest of them all, but like I was surprised at how quickly it got done.
It's the film gets to the point, so no pun intended, but it does get to the point pretty quickly.
Come on.
Yeah.
John, pun was intended.
Okay. I guess it was. I'm sorry. Couldn't resist.
I always that drives me crazy when people say the pun intentionally and then go, no pun intended. I'm like,
no pun intended. See, that's
what I always write that in the line. I always write a line. If I'm going to put a pun in there and I'm going to say that line, I always make sure people say, you pun intended, or something, like, because, it's definitely intended.
And then, of course, you had already mentioned Devaney Penn, so that she was in a couple of them at least, right? Like two or three.
Yeah, she was in 2 that are on that one. And then she was in another short film called The Closet, which every time I mention that title to people, they're like, "Are you coming out of it?" I'm like, "Thanks." That's so funny. How original. No, it was a great short, unfortunately, and that was the first time I got to work with her, and I really loved it. But unfortunately, it just didn't get finished. And not to any of my avail of trying, but it just fortunately didn't get finished, and couldn't go on that particular movie. Maybe one day it'll be on like Scary Story Volume 2 or something. Who knows? But we'll see.
And then we have in The Dare, there's Jackie Hall,
who
does not play a nice person. She plays a mean girl.
Oh, yeah. She had a fun time with that one.
Yeah, she does. I really haven't met her or anything, but from what I've seen of her and heard of her, that seems to be the exact opposite of what she is. So So it must have been fun.
Yeah, she's like my best friend. So she's an absolute doll, and I love her and adore her. So I can't like and have her having her out there. I'm guessing we'll go into more like actual details of the filmmaking and stuff later. So I'll save
Right.
the fun stories for later.
Yeah, and that's got my notes here. So those are the people who I listed that I wanted to bring up, but then we have what's that?
I was gonna say we also have Sierra Holmes, who is in Scream Queens, VH1 Scream Queens.
Oh, really? Okay.
She
And
was in Unlucky Night.
Gotcha. Okay. So that's good. Anybody else who I might have missed that should be mentioned?
Well, let's see, and there's Lindy Starr, who's been in a bunch of like low budget movies like Adam, the Amazing Zombie Killer, and she's in a couple other films. Then there's let's see, who else was like, I mean, we said Heather Dorff, we said Sarah, Devaney, Jackie. Those are the main girls, like the Scream Queens kind of thing. And then there's a couple people who've been in a couple of the episodes, like a couple of the segments. Amberly Michelle, who was in The Pledge as well as Noise Complaint, and was one of the Slumber Party girls, So just a few other people. I mean, I'm sure we'll go into more about that.
One of the shorts mentioned Echo Lake. Which one was that? I'm blanking, but I thought that was kind of funny since that's what you're working on now.
Oh, it's always so in 2010, 11, like ish, I created Echo Lake as the town, and we shot a what is now a short film that we're finishing up next week. Is a movie called the series was originally called Echo Lake. It was going to be a series. Fortunately, now it's a short. But there was a town, and so that was in 2011. So at the end of 2011, we shot a short film called Noise Complaint, which had the Echo Lake Police Department guy, but he wasn't. I guess I don't know. Are we going to do spoilers on the show,
it's up to you. The movie's on YouTube, so I'm going to put a link to it for people who want to see it. So it's up to you.
Don't put that link. Don't put
that link. Oh, okay.
That one I sent. Don't put that one up there. That's a screener copy only. But they can see.
Oh,
it on,
no.
Plex TV.
Oh, okay, because it is on YouTube, but you have to pay for it. And that's the link that I was going to put up. So yeah, no, I wasn't going to do the one that you sent me. No.
Or you can watch it for free on Plex TV. That's a streaming app. So feel free, because I would love to support them. They're putting my movie out there.
Oh, okay. So yeah, so that just send me a link to, and then I'll add that down below. So with this, okay, so with all these stories and everything, was it always kind of planned as an anthology? Did you always kind of think it was, or was it just, kind of like how we were talking, short story here, new short story here, oh, let's make an anthology? Or was it, I want to make an anthology, and these are the films that are going to be
okay? So I kind of, all right. I can't go too much detail about certain like behind the scenes stuff that, is not appropriate, but let's just say we were working on it being one certain anthology, and then it turned out to not be that particular one. We changed it up. So it went through, there was one, it was going to be called Trial by Terror originally, and then it became Trick or Eat. I think that was the title.
Trick or Eat. Okay, I like that title.
I do too. And I think that was, it was 2011 that title came up. So, or 2010, something like that. I think it might have been 2010. Terry Jernigan came up with that, and Terry's a big help. He worked really hard on a bunch of stuff with me, and I feel like I never give him enough credit, and stuff. But in the beginning of our, of my career, he was there. helping me along and stuff. And I really appreciate him. And but he came up with Trick or Eat. And it was gonna be like Halloween themed. But all the shorts were not Halloween themed, right? So I said, this won't work. I'd have to like change everything to make it like that. So let me think of something else. And I came up with Scary Story Slumber Party because I just love the idea of girls like telling scary stories, like, while they're doing a slumber party. Like, I just thought that was kind of a fun idea. And so we kind of like shaped it around there, and then we changed it to that. But man, it would have been cool. Like, my original idea for it, which I could still technically make someday, or if somebody else steals it, whatever, it happens. But my idea was that one scream queen would be on trial for all of these different murders that she had done, and or so, or whatever, all these different deaths, and we'd see all these different shorts that all had her in the movie, right, and stuff. And so it would be set. It was called Trial by Terror. Actually, funny enough, it was an Ed Wood title. Ed Wood had that as a title somewhere as an unproduced script. I did not know much about what his was about. I think his was just connecting all these different things. But so Trial by Terror, and she's telling the stories on the stand. Unfortunately, we didn't have the money to do what is it? A
Like
court,
a courtroom. Yeah.
scene. Yeah. So I ended up saying, well, what can we do? We can do girls at a scary story, or at a slumber party telling scary stories. So.
And there you go. And that's how it all came about. What was there any sort of budget that was looked at with these type of things, or how did you work that out? Like budgetary wise, I guess if the stories were kind of done at different times, there wasn't really a budget, or did you already kind of have that planned out for certain things?
Some of them, I mean, most of the people came out for free, helped do it, like it would cost like a few $100 for different things here and there. But really, all in all, it didn't cost much at all. Like, compared to what maybe I'd want now if I did, if I did other ones like this, but it really didn't cost too much. And I was very happy about that.
So now, looking back at the film and the directors that you had and all the actors and everything, is this it's something that you're proud of. It's something that you like. It all worked out. It all came together. It's available for people to watch. So you're happy with what came out.
Oh, of course. Yeah. 100%. I mean, yeah, absolutely. I love this movie to death. Like, it's really my baby, like uh, like, it's funny because, like, for the longest time, I couldn't get anything finished, like all these shorts were adding up, and everything. And then I finally finished it. And I don't know how many people feel this way, but once you finish a film and have it edited and have it put out, how freaking like happy you are. Like, if I lived, only a few more months or something in my life, at least I finished a movie, you know. A lot of people sadly can't say that these days because it just
Right.
takes a lot of time and money and figuring out different things to do that. So
Yeah. It's tough. So it's yeah. So when you do have that, and these days it could just be on a little card your entire movie. But when you look at that card instead of that big reel of film, it's still your film. So it's great just to know that you made something.
exactly. No, I 100% agree.
So I would normally talk about, let's say, like pre-production, production, and then post-production. But since these are all individual films, I figured that we would actually talk about each movie a little bit, or each
Okay.
short that's within it.
Perfect.
So let's start with the wraparound. how did you come up with the girls telling each story?
I think once I came up with like the idea, behind, because the wraparound's always kind of the easiest part, in my opinion, because all you got to do is just have something leading up to them talking, right? To them doing the next short. And so that was like, once I came up with the idea that it was going to be scary, scary story slumber party, I just had to like come up with this idea of shooting this stuff, like just see the scenes inside a slumber party, and then make them tell the stories, and then go to the stories and everything. I don't know where I came up with like the idea of having like Bashed be on the screen and stuff, but I think that had to have been in the writing, because I set it all up. I think I knew I had Bashed on DVD, so I could just play it on there or whatever, and have them like pretend like they were watching it and saying they could come up with a better story, which I thought was so funny. Because I mean, I'm the one writing all of it, so me saying it's going to come up with a better story is sort of funny, like to me.
Well, and that's where I was actually going to take a step back from the girls doing the wraparound to Bashed. So the film begins with
Right.
A couple out in the woods, basically, and then it goes into them telling the stories and then the stories. So it's kind of that movie within a movie.
Yeah.
And tell a little bit about Bashed then. What's the story on that?
Well, okay, so I guess this is gonna be a long-winded one, by the way. So I had just done The Pledge and finished it, and we'll get into more of that stuff. And I was just like, I had wasn't happy exactly with things. Like, things didn't go the way, I mean, I don't know, sad me, whatever, I was just like, things weren't, it was difficult. And so I was almost like ready to quit, filmmaking. And then I had acted in a movie called Nightmare at Bunnyman Bridge, which was directed by our buddy Robert Elkins, and starring Danae West and Russ Bryan. And we had such a great time talking on set. We were all just chilling, and it was fun. And I was like, this is what filmmaking should be about, like, it shouldn't be this stressful, especially shorts. Like, it shouldn't be this, like, you know what I mean? So it should be fun.
Right. Yeah.
And
Yeah.
so uh, I was like, okay, I'm going to write something. So I came up with a story, and I came up with this, the Bash story, and I pitched it to Danae and Russ, and they both liked the idea, except they didn't like the name. And I guess, do you want me to go into this? Like, we've talked about this earlier. I'm not sure how
Right.
much you want me to actually go to the making of it or not. Um, fuck it. I think I say it in the commentary anyway. When that comes out in September, everybody will be able to hear it anyway. It was called Gay Basher, and it wasn't like I was saying anything specific, about the homosexuality, about that, at all. It was like this, and we see the movie, and so I will do some spoilers. You can watch the movie. If you guys want to hear this interview, please go watch the movie first, or whatnot. Or if you just want to, you don't care, listen to the spoilers, because there's going to be spoilers probably in every one of these things. So we were, so in my script for Gay Basher, she finds out that the guy that she's likes, that she works with is gay. And he tells her, and she does not take it very nice. And she knocks him up over the head and ties him up loosely, which a lot of people give me crap about. Like, I don't believe it. Why would right? I'm like, I don't know. She had to escape somehow. That was my complaint about, like, or whatever my thing about it. It's like,
She doesn't know how to
she
tie
had
a
to
knot
escape.
very
Like,
well.
Yeah, well, I mean, I'm guessing like my take was she wasn't. This was her first time, like right, like she was not planning to do this. It's just sort of like, okay, I've got him knocked out. Let's see what we can do. And he escape or he's talking to her. She's just not getting it. He escapes. He falls. Like all of that was in the script, right? Except at the end, she won. In my original Gay Basher script. So she had two problems with it. One, it being called Gay Basher. She did not want that on her resume, which I don't blame her. And then the second reason, or second thing was she didn't want to win. You know, and I said that's fair. So I called it Bash, which I think is a much better title anyway. And had it where he wins. So, it was sort of a thing where a lot of people saw it. I mean, and nobody at all has ever complained about it. They always seem to, unless it's like complaining about like specific lines or something, or whatever. Cause I kind of make it very PG-13. That's sort of a lot of what I do, period. I like PG-13 horror. So, and do you have any questions specifically about it? Because
Well,
I'll get right into it.
I think Bashed is a better title, and the thing is that he being gay and he does the bashing. So I mean, it is the title is not a gay basher. Isn't necessarily like somebody who's going out and bashing gays with a baseball bat. It is that he is gay and he's the one doing the bashing. So it's I mean, I guess you could look at it that way with that type of title. And I like the way the film ends. I like that she doesn't win because she's so nuts, and he's normal. He's telling her, you can't, you're not going to date me. We can be friends, and then she just takes it way too far. So she gets her just desserts at the end. So if anybody does have a problem with it, they're just way too sensitive. So it's just maybe looking too much into it or not, or like too less.
I mean, nobody, not even any reviews I've heard on like Amazon or Letterboxd or anything. No, everybody complains that it looks student filmy. That's my biggest, the whatever complaint. And I think, honestly, I like the look of it. The grains and other stuff were fun to put in there. It was not obviously set in 70s, even though his shirt is very 70s looking, I don't. And I told him to wear, well, I just told him to wear something that was kind of flashy, but not like you would not think, oh man, this guy's gay, and everything, because we want that to be the twist in it, in a way.
Right.
So, I mean,
okay. So when the girls are watching it on TV, we're coming in at the end of the movie, at the end of Bashed. So, so then they turn it off, and they start telling, they're like, oh, that was lame, whatever. And then they're like, well, then you tell a better story than that. And then that brings us into Backstabber.
Backstabber. Yeah. That's the next one. Which I had a lot of fun with Backstabber. Cause like I said before, we shot it really quickly. Mainly because the two actresses had to, they had to work. So they had to go back to work and everything. So they came out, did their stuff, knocked it out. I love, cause it's really funny because Vince Martinez came out for the day that he came out, and he had worked with us on Echo Lake, and unfortunately all his scenes in Echo Lake aren't making it into the short. We're hoping to do deleted scenes and stuff, but it won't. Or if I can take those scenes and make a whole nother movie out of them or short film, I will, but unfortunately they just don't work for this, for this movie. And so, but it was really nice to have him out because he just was really excited to come out and be in the movie. And it was literally he's in there for 1 second, and he came out he did an hour drive to like
Oh, wow.
be in it for like literally 1 second. Yeah, that's to me that's dedication right there. As an actor, I mean, he knew his scene was like one line, but it was very like, and people had got on to me about how I think it was in like a Twilight Zone or Outer Limits episode where they have like a similar thing where somebody comes in, like somebody hurts somebody or whatever, attacks somebody, and then they find out that it was all like a birthday party instead, or whatever. And I I guess I just have that same brainwave because that's what I did, So I
Well,
enjoyed it,
it's a common
Backstabber.
thing in films, the misunderstanding, type of thing. So it's something that people can relate to, because there's constant misunderstandings when it comes to phone calls or left messages and things like that. So it's relatable.
Yeah, it may have been Victor Nash or Robert who came up with that idea, that ending. Maybe both of them talking to me. I don't know, but I don't really like. It's been so long since I made that. As that was like 2011. That was 10 years ago. So it was, I think, October of 2011, because I think I did Backstabber and Noise Complaint like in the same month, in October of 2011, because I think, yeah, I know that for a fact, because Noise Complaint was actually shot on Halloween night, so that was kind of fun having everybody there for that, or like the day before Halloween, something like that.
So then the next one is The Pledge. So tell us a little bit about that.
Yep, that's the one I almost quit over. And
Oh.
it wasn't look, it wasn't because I hated it. Like, it's probably the one I am the most proud of, honestly, you know, out of everything. But it was just so everybody was just making it to be way more bigger than, like, than I feel like it probably even should have been. It was my first time like really being a producer, producing something. And it was hard. Um, I feel like a lot of filmmakers think, or at least when they start out, that, oh man, it looks so easy to go out and make a film, and produce something. You know what I mean? Like, people think, oh man, it's gonna be easy to just make this thing. And a lot of times it's not. Like, even short films, it's not. There's a lot of work that goes into it.
Oh, yeah.
And there's just it's egos and other issues that we had. Like, we actually shot The Pledge originally in the same time we shot the same, like the day after we shot Valentine's Prey, because we had Devaney both days. So we decided to shoot, and it started snowing like almost right when we were still shooting stuff, so it didn't work. We had this these women neighbors who were upset. They were like furious that we're shooting a movie in their neighborhood. So they were like coming to us, and I remember I was with Devaney, like going over some stuff with her on the shoot, and all of a sudden I heard one of the guys came up to me and said, "Hey, somebody needs you downstairs." So I went downstairs outside, went up to a car, and it was these two ladies, old ladies, and I was like, "Hey, how you doing?" And she was like, "Are you?" And one of them was like, "Are you the producer?" And I was like, yeah, I'm the producer of this film." And she was like, uh, "Well, what kind of movie are you making here?" And I made the mistake of saying a horror film. I'm
It
gonna
should have
tell
been,
you
we're making
guys,
a
if you're making a horror
Christian
film,
movie, then you'd have no problem.
especially when they hear all the yelling and everything, it's gonna sound great. But no, so they were really upset. And they did not. Oh, they're like, oh, they're making a horror movie. That's gonna be just great for this neighborhood. I'm like, it's all this one house. Like, we're not showing the whole neighborhood. We're not even showing. We didn't even shoot their house. Like, you know what I mean? Like, who, whatever. So, they called the cops on us, and the cops came out, and because they told me, we're gonna call the cops on you. I'm like, okay, sorry, like whatever. So I walked over and I go, okay, the cops might be getting called right now, and they're like, okay, we'll handle it when they come. So they came, and Terry Jernigan, who I mentioned earlier, came up, and him and Farron Brown, who plays the killer in Jeep in Valentine's Prey. He and those two guys came up and they spoke with the cops, and the cops were like, they had never had been called for this particular problem before. So they're like, do you guys have permits? And they're like, well, we don't need a permit. We have the landowner's permission. And they're like, okay, carry on. And they turned around and left.
That's all they needed to hear.
One of the guys came up with an idea. Why don't we shoot at the other side, the back, and make it look like the front? And I was like, as long as it works, whatever. But then it didn't work out, right? So we had to reshoot it. So we had to go out, and we ended up reshooting it again. So we had everybody else come back out, and I had to pay for Devaney to come back. And I mean, it was just, so there's so much going on. And then I was like, at that time, like, I was just so tired, I was like, and it really pissed me off later, because the editor I had hired originally said he couldn't edit it together. It didn't work. And I was like, what do you mean it doesn't work? Like, the shots are all there, like, and he was saying he couldn't edit it together. So I don't know if he just didn't have good editing software or what, but I gave it to Chris Roll, and Chris Roll edited it in like a day or two or something, like quickly, and sent it to me. And I was like, I don't know what the hell they were talking about. Then I gave the special effects stuff I gave it to Victor to do the special effects, the fire, and the demon stuff and everything. And then it was done. And when it was done, I was proud of it. Like, I was happy. I was like, you know what? Because at that time, I started getting back into filmmaking again, and I was like, this is why you don't give up your dream so early.
I like that story. Yeah, I thought it was one of the better ones. Yeah.
I hear so many people that say like they're gonna quit, filmmaking because it's just too hard, and they're not. And I always want to tell people, like, keep going, like, what I mean? Just, what you gotta do is you gotta surround yourself with people you enjoy working with, like, that's the key, I think. Like, once you start working with people you don't like, you need to get rid of them, because that's just it. Like, this stuff, most of the time you don't make any money. This isn't like a get rich quick scheme. This is a labor of love. And if you're not loving it, you gotta get rid of people. And I had to get rid of a few people in the crew that I just felt were just, kind of weighing my feelings down about things and stuff. And once I did, and now I have this amazing crew that I love to death, and good things are going to keep coming from it, because, they love working, for this stuff. So that's how I feel.
Oh, that's good. That's good. So then the one that comes after that is Imaginary Fiend.
Yeah. Which, yeah, that was shot in my garage, and that was an insane night. One night of like yelling at the top of Lindy's lungs. And so I had to hear screaming for, days on end, in my head. But it was amazing. She did such a great job. Brittany Scalf. And I think you said something like you thought like the ending was sort of like just kind of didn't really end, you felt. Was that what you said?
I liked the idea. I was into it, and then it just kind of ended, and I wasn't, because I kind of wanted to see like the boyfriend wake up and, why did you hit me in the head? And she's like, I didn't, my friend did, or my fiend did. And I thought that it just kind of ended, that it could have been longer, even though I did like the idea. Because I didn't, until the imaginary part was brought up, as I thought she was kidnapped, was working for me.
Yeah. Where were you when I was writing it? I don't know. That's actually a great idea. Why didn't I freaking have because I didn't really give Matthew, unfortunately, who played the boyfriend, I didn't really give him that many lines. Yeah, I think he only says like what's going on, what's happening here, right? And then she explains, the imaginary fiend explains that this was all just in her imagination, everything. She wasn't actually kidnapped, her doing this and everything. So it was probably a better idea on paper, but maybe at the time I was still sort of new. I didn't really know how to make it like, absolutely 100% the way I dreamed it would be. But I thought for as quickly as we could get it done, and everything, that it came out, there's a fun story with it. And I really loved Lindy's lines. Like I enjoyed her dialogue and stuff. So I don't know. All in all, I think it's a fun piece, I don't think I mean, I don't know if it's my strongest, necessarily, but I think it's really fun in a way, So
Okay. And then that leads into event invitation.
which I mean, I can't really tell you any behind the scenes or like, I mean, when I saw it, like I said before, when I saw it, I enjoyed it a lot and was like, okay, this will fit, and I, I liked a lot of what happened in it. And it was shot in, I think, I want to say Illinois. So it, like, I felt like it did a good job, with, what it did.
Well,
I enjoy watching it.
and that's one that you didn't direct. That was the Mike Wilson.
Mike Wilson directed it. Yeah.
Yeah. So
He
yeah,
did a
and
great job. Like
that was a good one.
I like, if he ever does another short or whatever wants to include it in one of my projects, I would love that, so I mean, unfortunately, I didn't work on it. So
Okay. Then we come to the Dare.
The Dare, which I forgot, was I like, I don't know if I had any other title for that. Maybe it was always called The Dare. No, it was always called The Dare because that's what it was on, in the was it the pictures that I've had on the, the clapboard, it's called The Dare. What do you want to know about that one?
Whatever you can tell us. That's it's the one that Jackie's in, and so what are your thoughts on that?
Yes. Well, I forgot when we shot it. I want to say it had to been like either July, I think, of 2010. And Jackie and I were friends since like 2008, and we had wanted to work together, and we were close friends. I talk about this to her all the time, and uh, she gets annoyed by it because I remind her about it. But there was the first time I ever chatted with her on the phone, we were gonna be working on another project, and so she gave me a call, right? And I was like, "Uh-oh, is this like her like saying she can't be a part of the project?" Like that's where my mind goes completely, all the time. And so I answer the phone and I'm like, "Hey, hey, what's going on?" And she was like, "Hey, what's up?" I was like, nothing much. You called." She was like, "Yeah, I'm just driving around. Just wanted to give you a call and chat." And that was when we became like best friends, and
So
that
you
was
did
like
the
literally I can just
shoo.
pretty much. I was like pacing around for a while before then, but I was still waiting for it. I was still like thinking it was gonna happen. And then so she was like, "You're doing all these short films. Why don't you write one for me?" And I said, all right. And so I was trying to think of something. And yeah, you're right. She usually gets sort of either the kind of the ditzy kind of character or kind of the sweet kind of character or whatever, but she barely ever gets to play the bitch. So I was like, let's do that with her, and let's make her the bad person. And so we got Ashley Viteri, who was in was it in The Pledge, and we got let's see, we got Kelly, I think it was Kelly Lewis, and we got Karen Kettles, and they all came out for like just this like little short. And then we got a kid who's the son of my uh my family knows the people who own Rocco's, which is a place that we shoot a lot of our like our restaurant scenes and stuff. So including we'll get to it later, but Unlucky Night was filmed there, and Rocco is actually in that. But Rocco, I guess Junior, or no, like Rocco, whatever, whichever Rocco he is, the little Rocco, as a lot of people call him, he was the little kid in it, and he did such a great job just being like the spooky kid, because even though we didn't really need that, I don't feel like, but it was still kind of cool to see the ghosts come up and do everything.
Yeah, yeah,
And
yeah.
then we shot it, and then Coven Delacruz did the special effects, and I thought it was pretty damn good. I like it. It's a lot of fun.
That's good. Okay, so then because you mentioned
Yeah.
Unlucky Night, Unlucky Night is next. So what about that one?
Oh wow. Yeah. So that was I had worked with Sierra Holmes on a promo for Scream Queen Campfire, which we are working on the first segment of the Scream Queen Campfire, the movie, next week. So that's gonna be fun. But Sierra did it was in that, and we had such a fun time working on that project that I said, "Would you like to come back out and shoot a short film?" So we tried shooting it one night, and we got all of the bar scenes done. And then unfortunately, we couldn't do the next day, so we were supposed to shoot it all in basically one night. That just wasn't going to happen. That was not in the cards. So unfortunately the lead actor Jay Gates, who I love, he's a comedian from Virginia. He's his some of the stuff he said in the movie was not written, and like there's my favorite line is I said I play a part in it, and I say, God help you. And he says, God will help me. And that was like my line to him, right? Was just, God will help me. And then he goes, he'll help me hit that. And I was like, that was good. All right.
That's a
We're
good
going to keep
line.
that
Yeah,
in
that
there.
was a funny line. Yeah.
Yeah. I always tell people that if somebody ad libs a line and it's good, keep it. Don't,
Sure.
you know what I mean? Because I know a lot of people are very strict about their dialogue and everything. They don't like people improving on set. I think if you have a really good actor that knows how to improv, or comedian especially, who's really good at just coming up with like stuff spur of the moment, like keep it, because it can be amazing. And a lot of what he said was just really funny. Um, and you did a great job. And the Sierra and them, so we ended up shooting it again, shooting another time, and then it was done. And I think honestly it has pretty fun twist. It uh basically I just wanted a torture, sort of a torture thing, but not go that deep. But it was a lot of fun. I enjoyed working with Sierra and Jay and everybody who worked on that particular project too.
Okay.
I feel like I'm saying that for everything, but
Well, they wouldn't be in the shorts wouldn't be in there if you weren't proud of them. So, I would expect it.
I mean, I don't know. Some people leave their shorts that they're probably not proud of in their anthologies. I was lucky because yeah, there were no shorts that like were on the chopping block. There were no shorts I was like, oh, I don't want to put that in there. So thankfully.
Yeah. Okay. So then the next one is Valentine's Prey. So what about that one?
Yes. And that was that was the as I said before, like that was the first short we did, and that was like my first, I guess, big directing thing, short. Because I so I had done a short film prior called Screwdriver, and the one before then called Blackout. Both you will never watch. They'll never see. You'll Nobody will ever see the live day. But one starred Rachel Grubb, who I love, and I had such a Screwdriver starred her, and she did such a fantastic job. But unfortunately, it just didn't work out. It just wasn't as, and that was me because I was learning how to direct and how to make something. Like I think if it had better editing and it had better, I mean, it could still probably be re-edited maybe. But I just, like honestly, I'm very proud of the fact that I made something back then, got it done, but it just, sadly, isn't there. So, we ended up, making, so we ended up shooting those two, and then I produced, The Closet with Devaney. We had such a great time. I said, well, do you want to come out for Valentine's Day? And we shot like right after Valentine's Day, a couple days after. So any like flowers and all that shit were cheaper, and stuff. It was Valentine's themed thing. Do it after Valentine's Day because you'll get all the shit cheaper. Just like if you're gonna do a Halloween themed thing,
Oh
do it
yeah,
after
yeah,
Halloween.
yeah. You got to don't buy the stuff when
Unfortunately,
it
everybody
first comes
wants it to
out.
come out.
Yeah.
Right. You'll get it cheaper. However, you might want to splurge and buy the extra stuff because then you don't have the movie on Halloween. You'll have to wait another year for it to be on Halloween. Though I'm gonna petition for Halloween to be like more than one day because this is it drives me nuts waiting. You know.
For some of us, Halloween
But
is every
let's
day.
I know, and that's I think just horror is every day. I don't think because I don't see everybody running around dressing up every day, or whatever. Technically with COVID, everybody's wearing a mask.
There you
So,
go. There you go.
oh well. So anyway, so yeah, I had gotten a amazing DP named Johnny Lazarus to come out and shoot. She shot The Pledge as well. He did the DP for The Pledge, and he was so nice, easy to work with, and everything. So I ended up so the funny thing about that is so me and one of the guys who was doing the sound, Antonio, um came to this set because he had told me there was the great location, and it was the AD's location. It was her house, right? So we had to go over to her house and shoot, and unfortunately, the there were mirrors everywhere. We did not realize this when we were first like scouting the location. So because we weren't thinking in a DP's eyes, right? So we were like, "Oh, this is going to be amazing." We get everybody there, and DP's like, "Nope, we can't shoot there. We can't shoot from there. We can't shoot this there." And I'm like, "Oh my god!" I have to like start thinking of like how to work this out, where the angles can be where you can shoot and there's no reflection, you know. So we did, and we got it done, but like barely because like the sun was coming up at that time. Like when we were done with it, we started shooting. I think at like 6, and we ended up getting it done at 6, like 6 to 6, and getting it finished.
Oh.
Um, and uh, and then Devney was dead. Her character was dead, and we went to Denny's. I think it was IHOP, one of those two. And we sat down there, and she was all bloody, and people were just like, "What's going on here? Like, what happened to you?" And she was like,
It's
I was in the
okay.
movie.
Don't worry about it. I just
Um,
need my lumberjack slam.
yeah.
It's okay.
So that was sort of fun. And then we got an amazing outtake. I think it's online somewhere, maybe on like YouTube or something. If you look up Valentine's Parade outtakes, but there's an amazing outtake. I might just share it with you later. There's an amazing outtake where I'm because my character, because I'm in that movie as well. I'm in 3 of them, and I died, and I'm directing at the same time, right? So I'm like laying down being dead, and they're, Johnny is trying to ask me a question because somebody asked him a question on the thing, and he was like, oh, that's a Moody question. Jonathan, it's like, I think he's asleep. It's like, it was so funny because I literally was probably, because it was like, it was shot sort of in sequence, so because we had to have the death last, and everything. So it was like, I was dead. My character was dead. I was blocking the door. I think she was dead, maybe on top of me at the time or whatever and stuff. So they had to ask me a question about him pulling the heart out. And I'm like supposed to pretend I'm dead, like with my eyes closed. Because I made the mistake once of having my eyes open when I'm dead. Never again. Never. Never, never,
Never.
never.
Your eyes are supposed to be open when you're dead.
Nope. Yeah, I will close my eyes, or I will make sure that when they put me somewhere that I'm not seeing, with my eyes, because
Oh my God, I always get mad. I yell at the screen when I see people dead and their eyes are shut. It's like, you don't die with your eyes shut unless you close them, like, oh, I'm dying, and then you close your eyes. Yeah, but if you're shot, your eyes are open,
Right. Yeah.
It's
I
more
don't know, but
creepy to me
anyway,
too.
I don't know. Whatever. I prefer, so I had my eyes shut. Sorry. Oops, continuity. Whatever. I had my eyes shut. I'm laying down there, and I guess I actually started to like doze off a little bit. And it wasn't like I was like, that wasn't like, a thing. Like once they woke me up, I was like, oh, it's God. I gotta, like I can't let that happen again. But it was sort of like, I guess it was sort of funny, that one of the last shots, I'm like, there you go.
He might be dead.
Might be half dead. I don't know.
Dead tired.
Yeah, I was dead tired. And like at the end of it, like I was ready, so we got finished with that, and I just was super happy, with how, especially when it got done. Like I'm okay. So out of the two, the Pledge and Valentine Spray with Devaney, I preferred the Pledge over Valentine Spray and whatnot, because I feel like it's a much more fun story. But and it's a little longer, and I feel like it has a story more, like it, you can kind of get into the characters a little bit more. But the oh, I never mentioned before, by the way, for the Pledge, that Devaney Penn was the one who decided to do goth. When she did her makeup, she did goth. And I said, perfect, because she was supposed to look like the outsider, And a lot of people get on me like, why would a goth chick want to join a sorority? And I was like, why wouldn't she? Like, like, I don't know. Like, that's always my answer.
Like, yeah, I'm sure. Why not? So
yeah,
okay.
I mean, she might be looked down on like that, and stuff, but she, whatever. So anyway, that was the thing. So
okay,
that was Valentine Spray.
And then the one that comes after that is Capture and Kill.
Yep.
Now that
Capture
was
and Kill, which was John Johnson's. I think, like, so I think he shot that for like a 48-hour, short or whatever. And so I think some of the characters had like lines and character names that they had. Like, I think there's that part where the guy comes in and he's like, it's somebody's party, and I think that was like the name they had to come up with, and everything. Because I don't know if you've ever done the 48-hour film festival. I've been acted in 2 of them. I've never directed. Or what I'm sorry, I can't put myself through that. That would just be too stressful to be a director. Like, of those, do a short film in 20.
I've never done one. No, I was asked, but I've never done one.
I mean, I'm making 2 shorts in 48 hours. No, I'm making 1 short in 48 hours and another short in 48 hours. But I'm not like, they're not going to be edited and be able to screen, like, and everything, like completely finished in 48 hours. That just that would just drive me crazy. Um, but yeah, I don't mind acting in those. And his thing. So I think it was a 48-hour film festival entry, and he I guess they retain the rights to those once they're done. Like it's their
Yeah.
movie, they can do whatever they want. So he allowed me to make it to put it on there. So if anybody has a horror short in a 48-hour film festival and would like to contribute to Scary Story Volume 2, I will definitely take a look at that, because we are going to be hopefully making one of those soon.
Oh, there you go. Okay.
Enough.
And so after that is Noise Complaint. What about that one?
Noise. All right. So Noise Complaint's the last one, I believe, of the shorts. And then it goes back to the wraparound.
I believe you are. Yes, you're correct on that. And it's your film. You should know it. I shouldn't be checking. It's.
I've seen it way too many times for me to like not know that answer. But yeah, so Noise Complaint. I forgot how I came up with the idea, but I'm proud of one thing, and it was that I had one of the biggest casts at that time that actually showed up, because I don't know if you know this, John, as a filmmaker yourself, but sometimes when you're not paying people and people are just kind of coming, or whatever, a lot of people make reasons to not show up, either they can't make it, or their job. We had one actress who I guess didn't have a great time on the pledge originally when she first did the first pledge, that when I asked her, because I had told her before when we were going to shoot, I sent her emails, and everything, and she said, sure, she blah, blah, blah. Then I sent her, I gave her a call and said, so you're coming, because I didn't get a confirmation. You're coming tonight, right? And she said, I have to work tonight. I can't make it. So I said, oh, well, I don't know what to do. So I asked Chris Roll. I said, does he know anybody? And he said he had known a girl, and she was amazing, Rachel Lang, who's the blonde girl in the mean the the lead sorority girl in the pledge, and she was wonderful. She came in, she memorized her lines, like she had to work that day. Then she came in that night and she just knocked it out of the park. And I thought she did a fantastic job, and now she lives out in LA, doing stuff out here. So it's
Nice.
wonderful.
Nice.
And so anyway, so Noise Complaint, I was just very proud that everybody showed up, and we had this huge cast. And I think the biggest problem is, I feel like some people have told me this, and I kind of agree with them, that I should have switched two of the roles. So I had my one of my former roommates, Brandon McPherson. He's with Brittany Colley, who is the blonde girl in it, and she's like, they're in the sorority they're in the not sorority they're in the like party together, and they're talking, and then I come up and I'm Jordan, this like asshole character, right? So I'm saying all these like lines to this guy, like, oh, what are you gonna do to me, kind of thing. And I'm like, and most people go, dude, this dude would kill you. And and he's all acting like oh, I wouldn't, right? And so it should have been role reversed, right?
I
should have
kind
had
of
him
looked at
be
it
the
as
character.
a little bit of Napoleon complex, because the guys, or at least the way it's shot, is you look shorter than the guys that you're going up against. So you're almost kind of like
Right.
that little dog that goes up to the big dog and starts barking at them, but then the big dog gets a little intimidated by the little dog, because it's just like, oh crap, they're coming right up to me. So that's kind of how I saw it.
It'll be probably like, and it was fun because I had Diane, who was in Backstabber and was in the Scream Queen Campfire promo, and I had like almost everybody that was in others. Like it was sort of in a way, like, because it was the last short we shot, right? It had to like There just had to be one more short. And I was like, let's make this. And it was sort of like everybody kind of got together. Ricky Delonzo played the cop. And it's funny because he plays the Echo Lake police officer, which I guess he's not really an Echo Lake police officer. He's acting like it, like, because they're asking where's his squad car and what's, all these things. And he's just not giving them answers. He's just got a gun. Right. And so I remember I was watching it with somebody and they were like, he left his gun. Oh, that's a continuity error. And I go, nope, just wait, right? So they watch and he comes back, goes and kills everybody. And because he forgot his gun and left her in the car. And, she got out. I forgot how, but she got out and she came and she saw it and then, or no, he let her out. He let her out.
Yeah. He drags her out of the car. And, he goes, I forgot my gun. And then he drags her out of the car and brings her back inside.
Yep, and then kills her after she's already killed everybody else. So it was fun. It was a good time. It's funny because the original. Okay, so Terry Jernigan was originally asked to play that part of Ricky, and I forgot why. He just wasn't able to make it, and it was the same part that he had played in Screwdriver. So nobody's ever seen Screwdriver, like really, not many people have, and so it's really funny because like now he's sort of playing a different, like it's a different person playing the same role, but nobody knows, kind of thing until now. Until everybody like listens to this, and everything.
About two people will know
yeah,
it. So.
Terry and me. That's probably it. Because I think I'm trying to think if that was his name or we changed it. But yeah, his character that was supposed to be, because it was the same thing. He had in Screwdriver, he had come in for a noise complaint. He had heard a noise complaint, but he wasn't really a cop. He just looked like a cop, or whatever and everything. So he ends up like killing the guy, the bad guy, and then what is it? And then killing the girl that was, attacking the girl that was who had it had a screwdriver stuck in her eye. That was like the idea of Screwdriver was she was drinking a screwdriver, she passed out, this guy kidnaps her that's doing her cable, kidnaps her, and then puts a screwdriver in her eye, and that's how she wakes up. Freaking out. Like people are telling me that apparently that would not happen. I don't know. Like there might be a way to survive that, but
well, I mean, people lose eyes all the time.
A screwdriver in somebody's eye.
Guess it matters how deep it goes. I mean, I guess if it goes back into their brain, probably not.
In anybody's eye, so.
I know Sammy Davis Jr. lost an eye.
So they were pretty deep. It was in there.
But it
happens.
Yeah, it does happen.
Well, not screwdrivers and eyes, but.
So
yeah, it was a crazy movie.
So the one thing that you had mentioned to me, you'd mentioned to me a while back, that, and the reason why I bring this up is because, as you know, and other people do, is I'm putting together my own anthology. And in those anthologies is I'm leaving credits. So as the host goes from segment to segment, there's a beginning credit and there's an ending credit. I don't necessarily have a problem with that. From what I've seen on my end, from looking at my own film, I think it's fine. I think it works okay. But you told me that people kind of said things about your film with credits being on it. Like, why are there credits on here? There shouldn't be. It's distracting. What do you say about that?
I mean, there was a guy on Letterboxd that had a problem with it. I particularly don't care because I grew up, like I said, I grew up on TV shows like Twilight Zone or Are You Afraid of the Dark, where they have those because it's a TV show. So they show you who's in it and then who directed the film and stuff like that. I don't know if they were annoyed by that necessarily, or if they're annoyed by how some of it didn't have it and some of it did, and it just takes them out of the movie. period. 'Cause, some of them didn't have the opening credits. It just depended on the movie itself. I mean, we just didn't get rid of the credits, or whatever if it's in there. So I don't know. It didn't bother me at all. We're Here's what they said. They said that it takes them out of the fact that it's just people telling a story. I'm like, it's a movie. It's not literally people telling you a story. So like it should, everything should be taking you out of it being like that, in my opinion. Like, you know what I mean? Like it should not be it shouldn't be that big of a deal. But I listened to that and I was like, huh, maybe the next time I will get rid of the credits. Because if it does annoy people like that, but most likely those people that have that complaint won't be watching the sequel anyway. So maybe I should just keep doing what I'm doing,
Oh, there you
you
go.
know?
Yeah, it's
Or if
whatever
they
you think works.
actually, you've told me before, I think, or somebody told me before that that people will, yeah, no, it was you. You told me this. That people will watch a movie of yours, say negative things, then watch the next one, and then be completely like confused and everything. And it drives me nuts. Like, okay, so you didn't like the first one, but you expected the next one to be better, and then you were disappointed.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Like,
That
I
was
mean, and
some,
then
yeah,
you
some woman's review of Axmas 1 and 2 on YouTube, I believe. Yeah. Yeah, before I even knew that the
it's just
films were
so
on
funny. Like,
YouTube. Yeah. And yeah, and she's like, well, the guy's like, well, why did you watch the second one if you hated the first one? And she's like, well, I thought they would have learned, to do a better job. And it's like, the second one is better than the
yeah,
first one, so I don't know what you're talking about.
well, I mean, see, that's the thing. Like, I mean, people are gonna complain about any sequel, but I'm like, you're watching it. Like,
Yeah.
you like it's not like all of a sudden it would be a cool anthology if somebody was actually never mind that sort of happened, I guess. There's a great anthology that I love called Zomthology. Do you have that? Do you own it or something? You said before.
I saw it a long time ago, but I
Or
know
heard
what
of
you're
it?
talking about. Yeah.
So Zomthology, that's where I met Robert Elkins and everything, and it's a great freaking anthology. It's got Tiffany Shepis, and I got to meet her on that set and everything. And but like I think it has like where girls getting tortured and has to watch these, crappy movies or whatever. Not crappy. Sorry, that's mean because they're not. They're pretty good. They're pretty good. But the idea is like it's there. She has to watch these B movies, and she's a big B movie scream queen that's been captured and has to watch these B movies, B zombie movies and stuff. And it's driving her nuts. Like, why are you kidnapping me, making me watch these movies? So yeah. So anyway, so yeah, but like, unless that was actually happening and somebody was kidnapped and forced to watch these, then literally you can turn off or not even turn on a sequel to a movie. Like, it's just ridiculous.
Right.
I don't know.
Yeah. Yeah. It is pretty silly. So then what about distribution? How did you find distribution for the film?
Well, originally, I found Lost Empire, and they did a fantastic job for, I think, like it was like set up for like 3 years, and then I now retain the rights back. So I'm going to be distributing it on DVD and Blu-ray September 10th, 2021. So you can pick up that. That'll be where you can hear the commentary, and I think there's going to be some behind the scenes, like some of the outtakes, and maybe even a short. I don't know. Like we'll decide how we want to do that, and then so like we're still working on that. So we're doing that, and then it's also like it was on Plex, which um to I'm gonna say a pun, and I'm gonna say was intended. Uh, I was very perplexed. I was very perplexed when I saw that it was on Plex TV
Ah,
because I was not told. I was not aware of it, And one of my friends let me know, and I was a little upset because like we had the streaming rights like figured out for Amazon Prime, but I was never told, oh, it's going to be on Plex TV. So unless, but I'm very happy it is because like I really want this out there more, if people are, I want people to be watching it if they can. So I do tell people, like, if anybody asks me, where can I see Scary Story Slumber Party? I do tell them, and I'll give you the link so you can post it below. But I do tell them that I want, I want them to check out the one on Plex.
Okay. Yeah, please.
Or you can also buy it on Google, Google Play if you want to own it and have it. I believe it's also on, as you said, YouTube has it to buy and stuff. So if you want to buy it, you can buy it through YouTube. I'm not sure anywhere else, maybe Vudu. I probably should know all of these things, considering I know own the rights, but unfortunately, those were not at the time. Those were not through me. That was through Lost Empire. So now I'm just trying to kind of figure out legally where I can kind of get everything back. Everything like that, because I do
Makes
own
sense.
the rights to it back.
Oh yeah. It's one of those things where you kind of just find stuff out. I mean, I had no idea that Access 1 and 2 were on Tubi. I had no idea that they were even on YouTube. I had no idea that these things were on there until I found them. So you don't really know. I mean, your film could be on like 20 different streaming sites and you wouldn't even know it.
Yeah, it's always fun because I'm friends with a lot of filmmakers, and so it's always fun to like look them up on Tubi or look them up on all these different streaming, because there's so many streaming sites now on like Roku and everything, and a lot of them are horror film based stuff. So I love to see the films, and I do the same thing my friend did, which is like, oh, I watched your film and I saw it on this platform. And a lot of times people be like, oh, wow, I didn't even know that was out there or whatever, but that's cool,
Yeah.
Like, because to me, it's not about, like I said before, it's not about the money necessarily. Like, I'm not trying to get rich. The money, in the words of in Almost Famous, money would be nice, some money would be nice, but I'm not here for the money. I am literally here because I'm an independent filmmaker. I enjoy this. I have a passion for it, and I want people to see my movie. I don't want people to like wonder where it is. When they took it off Prime, I was scared because then I was like, now I've got to go upload it somewhere. So I did.
Right.
Well, no, I didn't. I didn't yet, but it got uploaded to Plex from them, I guess. So yeah, I'm very happy that it's available for distribution.
That's good. So so now that people can see it, it's out there and everything. What has happened from when that film came out? What has happened to your career from there to here, from where we are today?
Let's see. I don't really know. Like, I mean, because I've done a bunch of shorts still. I'm working on getting my first feature films done, hopefully either this year or next year. I think honestly, the best thing about it was when I got it finished, and people could ask me, like, have you done anything? I'd be like, I made a movie. It's out. You can watch it, or I got to sell it at conventions, and that was really cool. So like a lot of my career has kind of, it hasn't really changed course, because I'm still going to be doing Scary Story Volume 2 soon. I've got Scream Queen Campfire getting finished, get the Echo Lake short getting finished. I've got all these things that I've been dying to just finish right now, getting done. And to me, that is when you're able to do that. I was hoping to do that last year. Unfortunately, last year was a little cray for filmmaking and stuff.
Yeah.
So now I'm just excited, to get things done here.
Well, and of course, don't forget you have Indie Film Cafe. Excuse me.
I do.
On top of everything else.
You're excused.
Why, thank you.
Yeah, no, I have indie. I've got Indie Film Cafe, which is a podcast that Paul A. Presents and I started in 2017, I want to say. And we, like the podcasts have, started before I was a filmmaker. I started podcasting before I was a filmmaker. And it was literally just a way to kind of meet people and kind of pick people's brains and sort of learn how to do everything. So I had a blast with the podcast, and I still do. I love doing Indie Film Cafe because I love watching movies. I think that's why most people become like indie filmmakers, is because we loved watching indie movies. I would hope, if you're,
Right.
like I said, if you're in here for the money, go be a doctor or something. If you're here for the money, this is not, this is not the best thing for it.
No,
Um,
no, it's not, unfortunately.
so
So
anyway,
yeah.
uh, but not yet. I always say yet because you just never know what's going to happen. I mean, somebody could see that movie that you do and everything and be like, I'm going to give you $1 million to make your next movie. You
Right.
just don't know, and if you give up, and like say, never mind, I'm just going to go do something else and concentrate on that, cause movies aren't doing it for me. Um, like I always get pissed when people are like tell me not to do my podcast because they don't make me money. I'm like, I don't do the podcast to make me money. I do it because I enjoy doing it. If I didn't enjoy doing it, I wouldn't do it because like literally I'm not getting paid, or whatever. Some people do get paid for their podcasting. God bless them. But I'm not really getting paid for that. And, I'm enjoying what I can, making what I
Right.
can.
No, 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 that all makes sense. So now we're down to so what do you prefer to work independently, or do you like to work with others? Or both?
I mean, do you mean like
Like, are
I
you kind of like
I
a
mean,
one
I
man
don't really know
crew?
what Oh no, hell no. I can't I like okay, so you watched a movie, and I mean maybe we won't say what it was, but let's just say it alien in the title. And actually we watched two movies that had alien in the title. One you didn't review and one you did. Both movies had the guys basically doing the camera work and everything, or getting other people like, in the cast to do the camera work. And it just drives me nuts. It's like, get a professional DP or somebody who knows what they're doing and work with them, because that just drives me crazy. I can't watch a movie, I can't watch a film that is done by somebody who doesn't know what they're doing. Like it like it confuses me, like I can tell when you don't know what you're doing. I don't know if that made any sense, but you know what I mean?
Well, yeah,
Like,
yeah. It seems like a lot of the people that we know, a lot of
so
them
I
are
mean,
kind of one man film crews, or one woman film crews, and they tend to do everything themselves. So some people like working with a big crew, and some people don't, and they just kind of like doing everything themselves. So I guess it just matters, who you are and what type of stuff you want to make.
I right now we have, I mean, a semi small crew. We don't have like, it's not a Hollywood budget kind of thing where we've got, an AD, a first AD, a second AD, a second AD, all these different things. We have a small crew, but it actually works perfect for COVID right now because technically you're supposed to only have like 10 people, in a room, and everything. So
Right.
a lot of productions get shut down because they have too many people, or whatever right now. But I prefer to have people who know what they're doing, working with me. Like I said, I would like to I like having, I'm working again with Chris Roll. Chris is a really good DP. Like you know, uh, he knows how to work with me, especially. We've been working with each other for like over 10 years, like, wait, yeah, it's been over 10 years. So we've been working together for so long that we know, like, what I mean? I know sorry, excuse me. I know how to direct him, and he knows how to, get the direction from me, and and use that to everything. So I like to do that. I like to work with people who, everybody has their job and they do it, and they do it perfectly.
Makes sense. Makes sense. So tell me, give me one time where you had like a problem on set, and then give me one example of something like really good that happened on set. Because we normally only hear about bad things. We don't hear about good things. But bad things are interesting to hear about too. But I also just want to hear something good that came from something.
From Scary Story, like you
Yeah,
got to be
yeah.
specific on that.
Yeah, yeah.
Okay.
So from any of the shorts
Um,
that you could think of.
okay, I'm trying to think because I did tell the story from The Pledge and everything. Oh, yes. So one bad thing that happened during Bashed, which was fun, and I think I told you a little bit before about it. So I was we were setting up and we were going to shoot in the middle of the woods, and this is behind my parents' house. Back in we have like this creek, and we have amazing woods, and I was really excited just to shoot there, right? So we go out there, we set all our stuff down to go grab some more, right? All the camera gear and things, and we come back and the camera gear is gone. And we're like, where the hell is the camera gear? You know? And so we see this lady come up. She's got a hatchet in her hand. And we're like, excuse me, do you know where our stuff is? And she's like, yeah, it's over there. She had a bunch of dogs that were like basically guarding the stuff. And she was like, what are you guys doing on this, over here? And I'm like, we're about to shoot a movie. And she was like, no, you're not. This is my property. And I was like, oh, I'm sorry. I didn't know it was owned by anybody. And she was like, yeah, I own this part. And she pulls out a map. She had a map in her hand, and she pulled it out and she showed us the woods and where like her like line was, like and stuff. So where we could shoot and where we couldn't shoot. And we were just like, shit, what are we going to do? Like we got this, we got this issue. And she had a hatchet in her hand. So we were already scared of her. And so we are like, oh, I'm sorry. Okay, we'll find somewhere else on the other side where she wasn't at to shoot. And that was like literally closer to where my house was. It worked out perfectly. But we were scared to death of that situation. I mean, and so to turn it into a positive, I turned it into a horror script, a short film script. And I was going to make it with Julianne Prescott and I forgot who else. I think Andy Noir was going to be in it and something, but unfortunately that never happened. And so it was, but it would have been awesome, and it would have been a great short because we were thinking it was going to be a short for Scary Story Slumber Party because this is kind of funny to have it in there. But fortunately, I never was able to get finished.
But you wrote it.
I wrote it. We just never filmed it.
Okay, good. So that's a good thing that came from a bad thing then, and that would make a good story. So maybe part 2 or another anthology down the road.
Maybe. I mean, I don't know. I wanted to turn into a feature, because and I had a bigger idea with it, but there was a couple other shorts that we never made that we might turn into something later down the road for one of the other Scary Stories. But I mean, I'm not, right now I'm just concentrating on getting this one finished out. And then like, I'm hoping maybe every year we can put out a new Scary Story Slumber Party or something, if we can.
Oh, there you go. Company. Yeah, that'd be fun. That'd be good. So
or every 2 years, something like that.
Yeah, no, that makes sense. That makes sense. Give people time to get stuff in. So, so are you the type of guy who, are you like an editor? Are you somebody who gets into that type of like, do you get into the editing software and the production software and that type of stuff? Or do you kind of move that to somebody else?
I generally move it to somebody else. Chris will do a lot of the editing, and then sometimes he'll come over to my house and, back when I was in Virginia, and he would like he would come in and show me what he's done, you know, and I will tell him what to tweak and what not to tweak. But generally speaking, I don't like editing at all. I've got a ADHD, so it drives me up the wall to like sit there and like and do
It is
everything
time
because
consuming. Yeah.
I want it done. It's time consuming. I'm not very good at it. Like I don't really, and that's why I think people that aren't very good at editing and everything should leave it to people who are good at editing. You know what I mean? Like that sounds like a simple statement, but like so many filmmakers do this where they go and they make um they'll make a short or they'll make a feature film and they will it will be terrible because they do all the work. And I mean, there's some filmmakers that can, like Robert Rodriguez is multi-talented, but he went to school for all of that stuff. He went to school for directing, he went to school for editing, he went to school for camera work. So he's worked with both all of it. He's good at that. Most people that do it just are like, well, I don't have money to hire a camera guy, so I'm just going to buy a camera myself and make it or shoot it on my iPhone. And I'm always just like, I get it, do it yourself, and everything, but you're going to make something not good. And the idea isn't to just put things out there. You want the best quality that you can.
Right.
That's my opinion.
Yeah, I mean, I
So,
personally
I mean,
love editing. So, because that's what I originally went to school for, was I wanted to be an editor. And then,
see,
also
and then
being,
that's the
I,
thing. And then,
yeah, I mean, I wanted to be a writer, director, all that too, but I really loved editing. So I really kind of focused on that. So when I
right.
sit down to edit something, it's chaos at first, but then it's great once you kind of put it all together.
But see that, yeah, no, but you are an editor, and you went to school for it. I didn't go to school for editing. I worked on iMovie and I've worked on, I've seen Final Cut. I probably could learn how to do it, and everything, but I'm not an editor, I don't want to be an editor, I don't want to be a DP. I shot things myself that suck. It's terrible, and I've
Good to see
decided
that you're honest.
I'm never gonna be a right. No, but see, and that's people always tell me, oh man, you can't say that. You can't say that sucked. You gotta hype everything up. And I'm like, you gotta be honest, if something sucks, you know, like be truthful to it. If you know deep down that what you just did is terrible, you know, then you need to either fix it or you need to get somebody else to fix it. And
Unless you're one of
that's
those guys who thinks everything they make is great, and we all know that it isn't.
well, I know, and see, that's another problem is there's so many new filmmakers specifically that think like they can do everything, you know, that everything's going to be fine. All have to do is get a camera. All I have to do is write a script. All I got to do is get these cast people together. And there's a lot more to it. It's taken me a long time. I generally cast a lot of my own films, but you know what? Sometimes, it's better to let other people handle that stuff.
Sure.
One of my favorite projects is Scream Queen Campfire's promo, and that was because I let people take control of something when I didn't want them to. I fought control, and then I just said, you know what, I'm not going to win. So I let them handle it, and they did a great job. And it was probably less stressful than it should have been. I don't know. You know what I mean? Like
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
it's like, but anyway, the yeah, so yeah, so that's my opinions is if you are a filmmaker, and you want to be a filmmaker and you want to direct and you want to produce and everything, don't do every single thing. I get crazy when I see shot by directed by, produced by, edited by, all of these different AD. The director cannot be the AD, or something like that. They no, like, and even if you are, do not credit yourself as it. It makes you look like you don't know. You are not letting people handle what other people need to handle, if you know what I mean. So
Right. So the last basically the last two questions would be how then you're a guy who has a lot of stuff going on. So how do you stay organized, and how do you prioritize tasks? I mean, you obviously can't go, oh, I'm going to have a Die Hard marathon today just because you want to, because you have too much stuff to do. So how do you stay organized and prioritize your tasks?
well, thankfully right now I don't have a job, so that helps.
Well, yeah, that definitely helps.
Hopefully after I get back to Virginia, I'll be able to. That won't even be a question. But so yeah, I mean that's the thing. If you're able to take off or whatever and spend the day doing that stuff, but if you do have a job, you have to do it when you can, And you're right. You can't be like, hey, I'm gonna watch a Die Hard marathon because I want to, and screw getting the budget figured out, or screw getting the production sheets out to people in time. Screw, I tend to do a lot of the work myself, not, a lot of the business stuff myself, because it's just harder to just keep giving tasks to people. And I've gotten in trouble for not giving, not delegating as much as I probably should. But I'm learning from that. I'm working on that and doing a better job, I think. I have a team right now that Paul, my producing partner, is handling everything, for that stuff. But he wasn't there for Scary Story Slumber Party. So I didn't meet him until 2014 or 13, one of those times. And that was after Scary Story Slumber Party was already done. So I was very lucky to know him, because he's been a very big help, getting things organized, paying for stuff that I'm not able to pay for, or whatever, and making sure things are done. And he's also very organized and is able to let me know when, like, hey, you need to get this done, and everything. Cause I'm not lazy. I just overextend myself, So a lot of times if I do get a break, I try to take it, but it's like today I got a lot of work done, but then I also didn't get as much work done as I wanted to. And so I'm going to have to make it up tomorrow, when I do some stuff. So, and that's another thing. The last thing is, if you are producing something, and say you have like 7 days, right? And then you to before you start shooting or something, you've got all these things you need to get done, right? So what you do is, if you do slack, you do your hardest to make it up the next day, because that will, in the long run, especially if you're like, okay, I'm going to be able to relax tomorrow, and then you relax today, you can't relax tomorrow. You got to get it done,
Right.
So
No, that makes sense. Yeah.
kind of
Yeah.
how I organize. I'm not very organized. I'm a Capricorn who's not very organized. That sounds very funny. I'm a hard worker, but I'm not very organized. And I get in trouble a lot because of that. But I'm learning to. I have a MacBook, and I use notes, and I write down all the things, like my schedules of things I need to do, and everything, because I hate the schedule. Like iCalendar or whatever. It just drives me nuts. I need, like, just write things out, and then try to remember, like, look back at them and say, okay, I need to get this done by this time. And that's how I organize.
Okay. And then very last question. What would you like to plug? Anything from the past, present, or future?
Oh God. I guess, I mean, right now we are shooting 2 short films. back to back. One, we're finishing up the Echo Lake one, and we're doing Scream Queen Campfire, the movie, and we're shooting the first segment of that. I'm really excited about both those projects. I just can't wait to be back on set, honestly. Like, my least favorite things are pre-production and post-production, but production is probably my favorite part, like it's still a little stressful, but it's a lot of fun, like I just love to be there and yell action and tell people where to go and you know what I mean? I love to direct a lot. And I honestly, like, this sounds weird, but I'm like, in the beginning of Scary Story Slumber Party, it was my beginning of my career. So I learned a lot of things, and I feel like nowadays I've learned a lot, and I'm able to kind of bring that into the next project. So I'm really excited about that. That's part of the Echo Lake universe. And so we are really making that into like a big thing. It's going to be kind of like Marvel, where everything's kind of connected, but there's separate stories on different medium platforms through like, shorts, features. We're going to do comic books. We're going to do lots of different stuff, podcasts. Somebody gave me the idea of doing a board game. I don't know, that'd be pretty cool. I go like universe board game or something.
Yeah, that'd be fun.
Yeah, that'd be fun. But stuff like that. Yeah, and we do video games, all that stuff. But we just need we're working one thing at a time, and we're trying to finish this up first. So
okay,
that's what's going on right now.
Groovy. All right. Well, that ends episode 2. So two. Wait. Where am I looking with the camera? 2, episode 2.
Oh, wait. Can I say one last thing?
Of course.
Everybody go check out sickflickproductions.com. That's our website. That'll have all the information. Sadly, it doesn't have anything yet about Scary Story Slumber Party because we're mainly making it about the Echo Lake universe stuff, and I'm got to work the Scary Story in there and everything. But aside from that, go check it out. It's where you'll get more information, and probably you'll see this the link to this when this is up promoted on that. So there you go.
Cool. All righty. Well, then I'm gonna say goodbye and thank you everybody, and thanks Jonathan for being here. I appreciate it. And
thank you. It was fun.
Yeah, well, thank you. I appreciate it. And I will see you guys here for episode 3.